Daniel Cormier regrets not putting his gloves away a little earlier. He thinks he should have called it quits long before his health began to deteriorate and the pandemic took over. But that doesn't change the fact that he's still one of the most formidable fighters in MMA. In today's video, we talk about Cormier's wish to have retired after the Derrick Lewis fight and his top 5 combat sports fighters of all time. Let's dive in, starting off with Cormier's recent revelations. Cormier is one of only 3 athletes to have held and successfully defended multiple weight class titles, making him one of the most successful fighters in UFC history. He retired in 2020 following his trilogy fight with Stipe Miocic, but looking back, Cormier wishes that trilogy had never happened. He recently admitted that he couldn't train to fight the way he wanted to fight. "The 2 times I faced Stipe Miocic after having back surgery just wasn't the same fight. I couldn't wrestle. I should have stopped in 2018. I should have stopped after Derrick Lewis." He added that it's crazy how severely limited he was after his surgery. When it came to his wrestling workouts, he switched from 30 to 40-minute rounds and matches to jumping rope, and did wrestling moves without the physical contact of the sport, saying that it was crazy he couldn't wrestle as much as he wanted to. Cormier underwent surgery after Derrick Lewis in December, and on the morning of the fight, he blew out his back. This had bad luck and poor health written all over it. "I should have simply said thank you God and I'm out." He added that he received extra compensation and is still the champion. He also doesn't think they'd have even taken the light heavyweight belt from him because Jones and Gustafsson fought at the end of the year. "It could have been done, but I just didn't." Not to mention, he isn't bitter. For many years, Cormier set a firm retirement deadline for his 40th birthday. But as that time drew closer in 2019, he ultimately decided to forge ahead, rematching Miocic at UFC 241, where he was defeated by 4th-round TKO. This resulted in their trilogy fight, which Miocic won by unanimous decision despite some minor controversies surrounding an eye poke he delivered. Cormier doesn't place much stock in that, but he does maintain that his trilogy and rematch against Miocic proved that his body was no longer capable of fighting. Cormier admitted that he honestly doesn't know if he came close to winning. "I was winning the first round, then I was winning the second round until he dropped me," adding that in the 3rd round, he was dropped, so he had to stop the fight for a round off to recover. He was poked in the 3rd round and won the 4th round, but Miocic continued to clinch Cormier in the 5th, eventually winning it. But Cormier doesn't think Miocic would have beaten him when he was younger. He thinks his opponent wouldn't have the skill he did back in the day. Simply put, I was a better fighter. What's more, he thinks he deserved a better end to his career. Ending his career on 2 flops wasn't the only sad result of continuing to fight on, though. The trilogy fight with Miocic took place on October 15, 2020, at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic and the UFC safety measures. This meant that Cormier's final fight took place in a nearly empty Apex arena with only his wife and longtime coach in attendance, rather than capping off his career in front of a sold-out audience at Madison Square Garden as the double champ. That was crazy. There was nobody there, and it was in the middle of the pandemic. And that was the issue. Nobody was able to attend. Nobody from his family was present. They only allowed his coach Rudy and his assistant Cassandra to enter. They were the only ones seated in the center of the Apex, and they were rooting for him because, well duh, they're his crew, and he deserved it for what he had done for the company. Even though his career may not have ended exactly how he had hoped, Cormier still had one of the most impressive MMA careers ever, and he and his friend and teammate Khabib Nurmagomedov were inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame in June. Cormier has recently made a lot of interesting revelations, and he didn't hold back from naming his top 5 fave fighters either. Let's look at Cormier's list of the top 5 fighters of all time.
This is my list. This is the right list. Tell me what you would change.
Okay, first of all,
Daniel Cormier recently took the time to choose his top 5 fighters of all time, which included athletes from boxing, MMA, and other combat sports. He spoke about his picks during an interview with ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith on the show First Take, and we got to agree, some of these names really do deserve to be up there. His number 1 pick is Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather Jr. is boxing's best fighter pound for pound, the biggest pay-per-view draw, and the hardest opponent to game plan against thanks to his speed, defense, and accuracy. His style was built on pure efficiency, and his capacity to deliver punches while denying his opponent the same chance is the reason why he's so amazing. The truth is that no fighter, regardless of the opponent, can be lucky 50 times in a row. For a professional boxer to succeed in the ring, they need mental toughness, skill, and a combination of timing and luck. And Mayweather had all 3. As a professional fighter, you've got to be excellent to win 50 fights in a row with no losses. And we totally agree with Daniel's number 1 pick here. Moving on to Cormier's number 2 pick, Khabib Nurmagomedov. The longest reigning UFC lightweight champion's physical prowess and seemingly limitless endurance are the reason he's such a favorite. Cormier thinks he's just raw strength. Khabib's proficiency in the clinch and takedowns were the main reasons for his success in mixed martial arts. He was able to defeat proficient fighters, including those who had received special training in grappling defense, and surprisingly made it appear so easy. It's safe to say that the MMA world has never met a fighter with a fighting style quite like his. He's a master of grappling, and a true artist who consistently makes his performance appear to be effortless to onlookers. Once in the ring, he's a man obsessed, who enjoys beating the souls out of his opponents by mauling them. Not to mention, he trains like a madman. Seriously, check out his Instagram and you'll know what we're on about. Now for Cormier's number 3 pick, Muhammad Ali. We mean anyone who doesn't include Muhammad Ali in their top 5 faves is clearly uncultured, and Cormier knows that too well. In his 14-year career as a professional, Ali captured the world heavyweight title 3 times. He won in 56 of 61 professional bouts, with 3 of the losses coming late in his career when his age and game had begun to fade. But what made Ali such a great fighter? The qualities that set him apart from other competitors the most were his speed, agility, footwork, and general athleticism. He was called a heavyweight who moved like a lightweight. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. His quote reflects his unique boxing style. One of Ali's best qualities was his toughness. The best example of this is his extraordinary ability to withstand blows. No one had the courage and dedication Ali did. The man knew how to take punches. The best example of his toughness is his famous Rumble in the Jungle fight with George Foreman. Truly the OG, who will always be one of the greatest boxers ever. Let's look at Cormier's number 4 pick, Georges St-Pierre. Appearing on the UFC's all-time stats list isn't new to GSP. For instance, his 90 takedowns set a promotion record. With 20 victories, he's tied for second place all-time in terms of wins. He also has some of the best UFC striking defense statistics ever recorded. Above all, this proves that Rush is one of the most competitive athletes to have ever stepped into the octagon. Fellow fighters and cultured fans agree that Pierre's incredible career has been made possible by a level of unmatched commitment and professionalism. He can strike, wrestle, knock his opponent out with finesse, hold them there, give them crazy ground and pound. Not to forget, he pulled a lot of submissions too. And Cormier isn't the only fan who thinks GSP was incredible. Khabib too believes that he was a well-rounded fighter who will go down as one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. Now for his number 5 pick, Amanda Nunes. The current UFC women's featherweight champion and 2-time UFC women's bantamweight champion is incredible, to say the least. The 32-year-old Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt excels on the ground, but she's always preferred standing combat. And it's the evolution of her striking that has allowed Nunes to raise the bar for what female fighters are capable of. Nunes is a master of range, and she uses leg kicks to both take the legs out from under her adversaries and keep them at the end of her strikes. But the main weapon in Nunes' arsenal is undeniably her boxing. She's unstoppable, and Cormier thinks she's among his top 5.
Amanda Nunes, the greatest female fighter of all time. Featherweight champion, bantamweight champion.
And with that, it's a wrap for this video. Do you agree with Cormier's top 5? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. See you at the next one.